Hi, this is Hema with Jivaso, and welcome to part 3 of the Dairy Industry ERP series. And in this video, we are going to talk about the software options, pricing, and implementation timelines for a dairy ERP. And I'm attaching the part 1 and part 2 videos to the description below, and I'd love for you guys to watch that one if you haven't watched them yet. All right. When it comes to selecting an ERP for any complex business type, it's very important to understand the different business requirements of that particular business type. And if you've been trying to make a generic ERP work for your business, it simply doesn't work because generic ERP systems lack the industry depth, flexibility, and scalability your operations demand, and that's why you need a purpose built solution with the right foundation. So, here are a few key factors you can look in for when you're selecting an ERP. So, you need an industry configured solution. Generic systems require too much tweaking to even get started. For instance, if we say a dairy processor needs milk collection scheduling, SNF fat testing, and batch pasteurization traceability, a generic ERP system it doesn't have all these features. So it only accounts for the generic inventory fields and retail barcode templates. That's why you need a pre-configured solution tailored for the dairy industry, saving months of setup time and reducing risk. And then you need an all-in-one integration. If your CRM, inventory, production, and accounting are running on different systems, you are losing efficiency and data clarity. So your sales team secures a contract for lactose-free milk, but your production system it doesn't flag the required formula or packaging. This leads to delays or incorrect batches being shipped. So ERP brings everything together so your entire operation speaks the same language. And then flexibility for code customization. Mostly, certain ERPs they lock you into rigid workflows, but growing businesses need room to adapt. So a dairy company may need unique workflows for seasonal milk blends, regional labeling laws, or custom cheese aging schedules. And off-the-shelf ERPs they can't handle that. You need a system that adapts to your processing lines and compliance needs, and not something that assumes you're just producing soda or cereal boxes. So we only recommend platforms that allow customizations at the code level without breaking the core system. And then your ERP has to be mobile ready because field staff, lab teams, and floor supervisors they can't be tied to their desktops all day. Let's say we can enable mobile SNF or fat testing chilling stations via tablets so that syncing instantly with ERP to trigger automated pricing and routing decisions. This reduces manual entry errors and it also helps optimize pickup schedules based on quality. And then your ERP has to be secure and scalable. Modern ERPs are cloud based, offering enterprise grade data security, high performance, and infrastructure built to scale as you grow. So you get the confidence of uptime, backup, and global access without the headache of managing on premise service. At Jivaso, we work with top ERP providers, and based on our research and experience, we recommend Odoo or Distro for the dairy industry, depending on your business needs and operational complexity. Both platforms offer robust functionality to manage your end-to-end operations without breaking the bank. There are some nuances which makes them unique too. While Odoo offers broad functionality and high flexibility for customization, Cispro delivers out-of-the-box capabilities tailored for complex manufacturing environments. Both systems come with fully integrated modules for sales, inventory, purchasing, accounting, and many more. And we can also add a lot of features based on your unique business type. And it gives you complete visibility and control. We also work with other ERP vendors that serve the dairy industry. So if you're exploring options and want a detailed, objective comparison, feel free to book a free consultation with a Jivaso ERP expert. Right. And how does the selection of the right ERP work? So here's how an ERP selection process looks like. The right fit depends on your business size, operational complexity, and budget, and we are here to guide you through that decision with confidence. We start with a quick discovery call to understand your business structure, your goals, and where things are not working today. And next, we help you draft a scope of work, a simple working document that outlines your key processes, features you need, and what really matters to your team. This becomes the foundation for everything that follows after this. And then we move into high level demos. We'll show you 2 to 3 ERP systems that align with your size and industry. Then we move into high level demos. We'll show you the different ERP systems that align with your size and industry. And these demos aren't sales pitches specifically, they're just to help you see what's possible and how you can leverage these features. And after that, we guide a comparative evaluation. We don't just match features here, we do a full gap analysis, identify what works out of the box, and flag anything that might need customization. From there, we run department level workshops. We talk to operations, finance, sales, warehouse, whoever needs to be a part of that conversation and make sure their voices are reflected in the plan, because it's very important to have the buy-in from all of your departments who are using the ERP, because it's not only an ERP is not just particular to one single department. I've seen instances where some companies might not have the buy-in from different departments, and that actually significantly delays the implementation, and it might also lead to ineffective implementation. So once we are aligned on that front, we move into a proof of concept demo where you see your specific workflows in action. This is where things get real, and you can evaluate and validate how the system handles your day to day. With fit confirmed, we present clear pricing and answer any final questions you might have around cost, support, integrations, and long term ownership. Finally, once you are ready, we move to contract sign off and kickoff. The roles are defined, timelines are clear, and we hit the ground running with momentum and alignment from day one. And this is how the entire ERP selection process works. And this process will significantly help you understand any gaps that you might have with your current implementation, or any gaps you have in your business workflows. And that will help us reach a point where we can look for an effective implementation of the ERP. Now let's talk about the pricing. So when it comes to an ERP implementation, the cost can be divided into three major buckets. The first one would be your software licensing costs, and the second bucket would be the implementation costs, and the third one would be your post implementation support. So the first software licensing cost bucket, this is typically charged per user per month. This can range from $50 to $200 per user, and this depends on the selected ERP system and the features that come along with it. So the implementation and infrastructure cost is the second cost bucket. It covers a range of critical steps like scope planning, configuration, customization, data migration, testing, staff training, change management, and finally system commissioning. We also include infrastructure costs here. While most ERP solutions today are cloud based, on premise hosting is still a viable option, and this is what we mean by the infrastructure here. And especially for companies with strict data control or security needs, we can have an on-premise hosting. And if you are unsure of which route is better for your business, a Jivaso ERP expert can walk you through a detailed comparison of cloud versus on-premise hosting, and you can decide based on that. And as for pricing, implementation costs typically range from $50,000 to $250,000 for small and medium-sized businesses with under 100 employees. Of course, the final cost depends on your specific business needs and operational complexity, but this should give you a ballpark for initial budgeting purposes. And the next cost bucket is the post implementation support. So, this is an ongoing support. So, because ERP is not a one time setup, your system will need ongoing maintenance, updates, enhancements, and emergency support as your business evolves, right? And this includes 24/7 support availability, guaranteed response times, continuous improvements, and version upgrades. At Jiva, so we work with our clients on a pay as you go support model. So, depending on the scale of your system and support needs, we recommend budgeting about $1,000 to $5,000 per month. And this support budget is in addition to your annual software licensing fee. I hope this gives you a good understanding of how the pricing buckets work when it comes to the ERP implementation in the dairy industry. Now, let's talk about the implementation timeline, because that's a significant part. For food and beverage industries and for the dairy industry, implementing an ERP is a strategic shift and not just a software upgrade. So, a fast track implementation time then is 16 to 24 weeks for small businesses with less than 100 employees. But as with any complex operation, actual timelines may vary. There are certain factors that you can consider, and there are certain factors that affect this timeline. So, it's scope clarity. Let's say Are you rolling out ERP just for milk collection and processing, or across production, QA, inventory, route planning, traceability, and financials too? So the broader the scope, the more coordination required, and that affects the implementation timeline. And then your data migration. You will need to migrate milk intake logs, SNF or fat test data, supplier records, pasteurization and batch history, aging schedules, and packaging units and packaging style codes. So that takes up a lot of time, and that needs upfront planning to avoid disruptions. And then any ongoing changes in your company. If your plant introduces new products like flavored milk or plant-based dairy mid project, your configuration timeline may shift accordingly. And then change management. Your team, from chilling station to QC and warehouse staff, they need training to use the system correctly, because as we discussed, an ERP needs buy-in from all the departments, and everybody is going to use the system. So the more tailored the training, the smoother the adoption, and this training timeline also influences the overall implementation timeline. And then your customization needs. So if you'd like to have any features like milk yield tracking or chilling logistics, lot traceability across blending stages, or mobile testing at reception points, that take time to configure but drive real value and compliance in the long run. So depending on how you would like the ERP to be customized, that affects the timeline too. At Jivaso, we specialize in ERP rollouts for dairy business. We build realistic timelines with phased deployments, ensuring minimal disruption to daily operations and compliance workflows, because we firmly believe that an ERP should never disrupt your workflow. It should actually enhance your workflow. I hope this video gave you a good understanding of the software options for dairy industry, the pricing and the implementation timelines. And I'd really be happy to talk to you if you have any more questions. And you can book a free consultation with us using the link in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our latest updates. Let's build smarter systems together. Thank you.